I welcome everyone to my channel. And again, stories from life. A novel that will change your life. Martha Shields' right pointing arrow, hope for happiness. Claire herself has never worn anything like this, preferring quite traditional cotton bras without frills. And you want me to buy it? She muttered awkwardly, putting his arm around her waist. Jake purred into her ear. I want to see you in it. Claire swallowed the lump in her throat with difficulty and took the bra from him. Accepting Jake's offer, she expected them to spend a couple of nights together until she got pregnant, and then both of them would heal on their own. Jake will be engaged in the extraction of funds, and she will distribute them. She stroked the satin cup of her bra with her finger. Of course, if she wears something like that today, it will turn him on. Although last night they did not need such funds. But you have to face the truth. She has too little experience. And it is unlikely that she will be able to attract his attention for long and boring cotton underwear. And she has to get pregnant. That's why she got married. When the baby comes, the need for sex will disappear, and it will be possible to return to the usual cotton underwear. Okay, Claire said. Jake matched the bra with matching panties. Then some more. A few minutes passed in an enthusiastic selection of linen. When Claire tried to choose her nightgown, Jake pulled her aside, assuring her that she wouldn't need it. Listen, how many more are you going to choose? We're not here for a month. And my credit still has a limit. But mine isn't. Jake jerked his shoulder. And, paying no attention to Claire's confusion, he moved on to the next shelf. Claire didn't know what to do. Apparently, he was going to pay himself. Hank, for example, always paid for Alex's purchases. And Jake has a lot more money than Hank. She touched Jake's arm. These are my things. I will pay myself. He gave her a surprised look. These are things for my wife. I will pay. Jake, I think I made it clear that I didn't marry you for the money. I'll pay for my own things, and that's it. He looked at her closely and said, Fine. You will pay for what you like. I'll take the rest. But you can't stop me from buying what I want, can you? No, but... However, I don't see the difference. Anyway, soon you will receive all the money from me. Claire lifted her chin proudly. I will earn them, and you already earned these last night. Claire's throat tightened at the remark. Realizing that he blurted out something wrong, Jake stepped towards her. Damn it, my angel. That's not what I meant. I am not your angel. Rather, I'm your whore. Claire turned abruptly and flew out of the store. Claire, stop. Jake rushed after her, but in time he remembered that he had full hands of linen. Throwing it to the saleswoman and asking to pack everything on the go, he jumped out into the street. He didn't catch up with her right away. Grabbing her by the hand, he asked, Damn, Claire, what are you doing? I'm going to the airport. I didn't mean that. You misunderstood me. Really? How am I supposed to understand this? I slept with you. Now you're going to pay me for it. Men don't marry whores. Is it? Tears glistened in her eyes, which she hurried to wipe away angrily. Then explain what the difference is. They stood in the middle of the sidewalk, obstructing passers-by and drawing attention to themselves, so Jake grabbed Claire's arm and dragged her to the nearest shop window. I didn't mean to pay you for sex. I just wanted to thank you for the amazing gift you gave me. She looked at him blankly. Present? Which present? Your virginity, Claire asked in surprise. Jake pulled her towards him. Claire didn't resist, but she didn't snuggle up to him either. Probably. You don't understand what a man feels when his wife goes to him clean, untouched by anyone. You sound like some medieval lord, Claire said. And she added, or rather like a cowboy. His lips parted in a smile. Don't forget that I grew up as a cowboy, although you can't tell from me now. And thank God, she muttered, then added more loudly. So you value everything on a monetary scale, right? Someone does something for you, and you pay him. Or give a gift. Jake didn't like her words and tone. So far no one has complained. Her face softened and she placed both hands on his chest. Poor Jake. Has no one ever given you anything for nothing? Didn't give gifts? The sympathy in her voice numbed him. Poor Jake? Does she have any idea how rich he is? Everything has to be paid for in one way or another. Her face darkened even more. No, that's not true. They don't pay for love. Love? He chuckled. Yes. This is the most expensive pleasure. For love, some fools spend millions every day. Her face contorted for a moment, as if from a slap. But Claire got over it very quickly. I know that you think love is a children's fairy tale, but it's not. Wait until your son or daughter wraps his unsteady arms around your neck. Then you will understand that you were wrong. The memory that had pierced Jake's brain at those words was hidden in the deepest vaults of his memory. About how he himself tried to hug his father, but he severely pushed him away. She's gone, son. Take it like a man. This was after the death of my mother. He was only 3 years old. After that, his father did not say a single kind word to him until his death. And his father died the year Jake paid off their ranch debt in full. Eli Anderson did not even have time to thank his son for this. Then you will understand what love is. Jake Anderson, she said solemnly. He bent down to press his lips to his wife's forehead. Jake didn't want Claire to see the sadness in his eyes. Understand? She shivered slightly. If you don't understand this, our marriage is worthless. Claire opened her eyes. She had a wonderful dream, however, very similar to reality. She smiled, realizing at a glance where she was. She was lying in the bedroom of an expensive hotel in Las Vegas, and her husband was sleeping next to her, hugging her. In just 3 nights after the wedding, she managed to get used to the fact that waking up in his arms is the most natural thing in the world. She spent most of those 3 days in those arms. Claire turned to kiss his bent elbow. In response, Jake reached out and pulled her close to him. Claire settled herself comfortably in his arms. Yes, it's easy to get used to it. She frowned slightly at the thought. Is it possible? Is it possible that fate, so strangely pushing them together, can lead to mutual love? No, neither she nor he was looking for love. Especially Jake. He needs an heir. Briefly and clearly. Any woman in the elevator with him that day could have been his wife. So she was in the right place at the right time. Or vice versa. She pressed her hand to her stomach. Maybe a new life is already emerging in it? The thought took Claire's breath away. More than anything, she dreamed of a child. And Jake? Will he love this child? Or is it just another business deal for him? What if she was right and Jake is incapable of love? And never learn? What will happen to their children then? What will happen to her? Jake shifted, holding her even tighter. Claire winced. Before, she thought that the child would be enough for her. Now she realized that she wanted more, her favorite job, children and a loving husband. She wanted to always feel the way she does now, surrounded by care, warmth, and most importantly, desired. With the exception of a few phone calls, the rest of the time Jake devoted only to her. Without it, he did not spend more than 10 minutes. She had never felt so necessary and important. Never in her life had she imagined that such a position would give her such pleasure. And now this discovery worried her. If she didn't know herself so well, she'd think she'd fallen in love. Once again, her eyebrows twitched involuntarily. She always felt great being alone. She was insanely annoyed by people who tried to tell her what to do. Claire Eden belonged to no one but Claire Eden. Never. And it won't. Only now her name is Claire Anderson. Jake insisted that she take his last name. When they have children, they will have Jake's last name. So another part of her personality was gone. No, she does not agree to be just a shadow of Jake Anderson. So she shouldn't believe in love. One must be able to distinguish between love and tender feelings that come after a flash of passion and are associated only with physical satisfaction. The warmth of his body, the security she felt in his arms, is just a fantasy. She should give birth to Jake Anderson's child. He doesn't need anything else. And you should come to terms with it. He wants an heir. She wants a child. They have a common goal. They will reach it, and that's all. Claire began to sort through all the possible difficulties. Everything seemed to be going as it should, with the exception of one detail. She was never able to draw a clear line between love and sex. Where is the guarantee that it will succeed in the future? To play it safe, it would be best to avoid making love as much as possible. Yes, she wants to get pregnant, but for this it is not at all necessary to have sex around the clock. Anyway, one day everything will work out as it should. The less time she spends in his arms, the less likely she is to fall in love. Tomorrow they return home. In Denver. Her days will be filled with new work. But Kai, she can keep everything under control. Can maintain independence. And heart. Chapter 6. Jake glanced at his watch. 6:30. The radio announcer announced possible snowfalls in the mountains. Jake reached out to wake Claire, but his hand found nothing. Frowning, he threw off the covers and went into the bathroom. Claire stood in front of the mirror and dyed her eyelashes. She was wearing only an unbuttoned shirt. Under the shirt was the same underwear that they had chosen together in Las Vegas, a black satin bra and the same panties. Jake stepped towards Claire, seeing his reflection in the mirror. She remarked, "I didn't know you were already awake." He wrapped his arms around her waist, feeling the velvety skin under her shirt. "How long have you been up?" Claire remained motionless. "A few hours ago. I'm probably a little nervous about my first day at work." "Why didn't you wake me up?" he asked hoarsely, running his lips over her neck. "You slept so sweetly that I didn't want to wake you up." She pulled back slightly and tried to zip her shirt back up. "Jake, don't, not now." He froze. Does she push him away? For the first time, Claire didn't return his kiss. And he didn't like it at all. He wanted her even more than on their wedding night. Sometimes he completely forgot that all this was for the sake of the appearance of a child, so he was overwhelmed by waves of pleasure. And each time it was more beautiful, more magical than the previous one. Claire winced. Jake clenched his fists as hard as he could. Claire winced. Jake clenched his fists as hard as he could. Right now, he so wanted to grab Claire in his arms and prove to her that there was nothing more important than the passion that they shared. But he held back, angry with himself. Jake was about to go to the shower, but then on the door he saw a dark red suit, which he bought Claire in Vegas. "I wanted to straighten out the wrinkles." Claire dropped her powder brush and walked to the shower door. "This is the only decent suit I have, until I find a time to drop by to pick up my things." Jake took her hand. "I'm going to the other bathroom." "Don't be stupid, Jake. This is your home." "I'll go to the other bathroom." "No," Jake persisted. "This is your house too. It's time for us to get used to living side by side." Claire smiled awkwardly. "I think you're right. Most couples live together for a year or more before getting married." Jake smiled back. "She's just nervous. After her first day at her new job is over, she will be convinced that everything is going as it should, and will calm down." Although he didn't want to hold back, Jake still found enough composure to wait until evening. He leaned over and kissed her on the lips. "We will learn to live together, don't worry. Today I'm going to another bathroom. But I can, don't worry. I'll just take the shampoo. While you are taking a shower, I will finish everything and you can shave." Jake opened the shower door and took the vial. "Here you see? We can do this." Kissing her again, he left the bathroom. "So, how was your first day at work?" Claire turned around and saw Jake. He stood at the door and smiled. "Damn him. How could he remain so unperturbed when her breath was taken away by the mere sight of him? "Don't look at me like that," she said. "How? Like you know what color my underwear is." She paused in embarrassment. "Even though you already know that." Jake smiled even wider. "Black. The one I bought you in Vegas." Claire felt herself blush. "Mrs. Hamby," she muttered to hide her embarrassment. "Already gone. And we will do the same now. It's already 8 o'clock, and I came to go with you to a restaurant." Claire shook her head. "I have too much work." Work is not a wolf, it will not run away into the forest. But Claire was determined that this time she would stand her ground. "That's right, but I have appointments with workers tomorrow and I need to know what to talk about with them." Jake kissed her quickly on the lips and sat down on the edge of the table. "So the first day went well?" Moving as far away from him as possible, Claire smiled. Genuine gratitude shone in her eyes. "It's too early to say, but I think so. Thank you for recommending me so well. This helped me." "My pleasure." In addition, Jim Gordon warned the workers in advance. "Are you sure Jim didn't want the job?" Jake narrowed his eyes. "Did he say something to you? Or, no, I was just asking." She shrugged. "I have never had to answer for so many people before. I'll probably get used to it with time." "How did you get used to me?" Claire glanced at him quickly. But all she saw was a playful smile. "Hopefully it will go faster." Smiling, he reached out to her. "Let me help." She pulled away. "No, Jacob Anderson. Just not in my office. You yourself made me director, and I intend to support." Here she cried out in a completely un-director's way, suddenly feeling that she was being lifted from her chair. To be continued. If you liked the video, subscribe to my channel and press the bell to nothing don't miss.